Okay, I think we're officially live and kicking on the Facebook Live homepage. That is looking good to me. Let's see how we go. Hey, Jono. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I decided this morning that because I feel like I'm always having technical difficulties with Facebook Live and with Zoom and with a combination, I thought I'm just going to go live a couple of minutes early and see if we can iron out any little issues that might jump out at me on the way. So yeah, let's cross our fingers and hopefully things will run smoothly. And I'm trying to juggle a couple of different screens this morning. I've got my Facebook screen up. I've got my Zoom screen up. So let's just hold on for the ride and see how we go. Okay, so it's officially about a minute to 11, so I'm not going to hesitate this morning. I'm going to kick things off. So, guys, first and foremost, to those of you that are going to be joining me live today, a very warm welcome to every single one of you. For anyone that's watching the recorded version of this, welcome along to you as well. This is FBP Live episode 12. I'm Chantal Brodrick, host of the Fitness Business Podcast, and we've got a little bit of a new format going on for Facebook Live for our FBP Live series, because over the next 14 weeks, I'm going to be chatting to you guys in a whole lot of detail about how you can actually get your very own podcast show up and running. So if that is something that you're interested in, or if perhaps a colleague that you work with has mentioned that it's something that they want to do, then please make sure that you tag them, make sure that you invite people in to come and watch. It is, as I said, quite a detailed series. I'm going to be taking you through a absolute step-by-step guide each week for the 14 weeks. And of course, you're welcome to watch this on an ongoing basis, or you might want to tune in and watch kind of a chunk at a time. But there's a few bits and pieces that I want to let you know up front, which is really, really important, and it might determine how you actually consume these videos. So the first thing that you need to know is every single week I'm going to give you about 10 to 12 minutes of information about that particular step in the process. But then every single week I'm also going to give you some homework to do. And the reason that I've planned these sessions in that way is so that it's not just a case of you taking the information in and getting excited about it and inspired by it, but then not actually doing anything about it. If podcasting is something that you truly want to do and you want it to give it a go, then it's really important that you just don't procrastinate and you just get the wheels started and wheels in motion and start working on it. So that's why I've built it in that particular way. So welcome along. I'm just trying to see. Hey, Jono, I've got you here. Excellent. So if I'm flipping between screens, it's because I'm looking at any comments that are coming in from Facebook rather than my Zoom screen at the moment. So guys, I'm going to flip straight over. I'm going to share my screen with you right now. And let's just give this a go. There we go. That's looking good. And I'm going to do a little bit of that as well. So hopefully right now you can see my screen and you can also see me up in the corner. Now, if you are commenting on Facebook right now, I can't actually see your comments. So I apologize, but what I'm going to do is when I come out of the screen share, I'm going to check all the comments and answer any questions that you guys might have about this. So let's start right at the very beginning. Why would I even create this series for you? Why would I do this? So I think that most of you guys know that I've been podcasting for a very long time now. Whilst the Fitness Business Podcast in its current format was launched in 2015, we were actually producing it as a monthly show long before then. So before we kind of went, I guess, a bit more mainstream and started working with partners and really started getting an international audience, we were a monthly show. We were really doing it as a piece of additional content to blogs and videos and social media posts. So all in all, it's probably been about 6 or 7 years that I have been podcasting. And you probably know that when I'm not podcasting, the other work that I do is generally interviewing on different series, whether it be on camera or doing live MC work. So all in all, I think we can agree that something that I absolutely love and am passionate about is speaking and presenting. And one of the biggest things that I love about podcasting is meeting new people and interviewing people for the show. So that's been an amazing part of this journey with the Fitness Business Podcast. And really what I want to do is to be able to share my personal experience with you. I have learned a huge amount over that 6 years or so. And I can definitely say that if you go back to when it all first started, there's quite a few cringeworthy interviews on my behalf in there. And but you know what? We've all got to start somewhere. And I learn every single week. So that's why I make the point that if you are tuning into this and podcasting is something that you've maybe considered before, but you're not 100% on, then once you've made that decision, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today, if that's something that you want to pursue, then don't procrastinate. Don't worry about being perfect in your delivery and in your formatting and in your systems. You just need to get started because if you are absolutely pedantic about all of those elements, then you're waiting to be perfect. You're not going to learn all the stuff that you learn along the journey. So I really encourage you to get started and don't hesitate. So let's take a look through. I've broken this down because it's such a long series. To start off with today, we're just going to look at what I'm going to cover in the first 4 weeks. Okay, so the first 4 weeks look like this. Let me see if I can move my screen. Here we go. Okay, so today we're going to talk about why podcasting, so why it is a fantastic medium to utilize for your fitness business and the benefits that it can bring to you, for your brand and for your business. Next week, we're going to talk about how to really narrow down on getting a specific topic and speaking on a specific topic and how you can identify that. In week 3, we're going to look at your avatar that is specific to your podcast that you're producing. Chances are you guys are already familiar with having an avatar for the business that you're in, and we're going to talk about how that relates to your podcast show and how you can create it and go through the steps of understanding your avatar if you haven't done that already. And in week 4, we're going to do a basic overview of all of the equipment that you need to get started. And it's really important to note with podcasting that it can actually be a really low cost medium, a really low cost way for you to get your message heard. And I want you to know that you don't have to spend a fortune to get up and running with a podcast. You can do a really basic version that is still a great quality, that still gets your message heard with very little upfront investment. And you can go right to the opposite end of the scale and you can get yourself some really high-end equipment and microphones and third-party assistants and stuff like that if you want to go for the kind of the full podcast experience. So there's lots of little options along the way. So they're the first 4 topics that we're going to be talking about. So let's head into it. I'm going to come out for 2 seconds, just check that there's no Facebook questions. How are we going? No, we're okay. There's no Facebook questions yet, so that's fine. Guys, make sure that if you do have any questions, I want you to please ask me. Don't hesitate to ask along the way. And as I said, I will, where's my PowerPoint going? If I don't see them straight away, I'll answer at the end. Okay, why is my screen share paused? Okay, hopefully, hang on. Oh, that's why I shouldn't have come out of it. And now I don't know if you guys can see it. Okay, I think we're good again. So there's our month 1 topics that we just talked about. So why podcasts? Let's talk about all the reasons that you should actually podcast and the benefits of podcasting. I think this is an amazing way to really create a personal connection with your audience. Not only that, but also build your community. So I know that a lot of fitness professionals build their community online. They do it through their social media channels. They do it through their Facebook groups or their Instagram groups or wherever your audience are actually hanging out. Podcasting gives you the opportunity to extend that. So obviously you can reach a certain portion of your audience through social media, but What about those times where they might be traveling, they might be working out, they might be driving in their car or on public transport? There are times when they don't always have the opportunity to look down and read a post that you've put up or watch a video that you've put up. Whereas one of the things that I love about podcasting is that you can reach your audience anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter where they are. They don't need to stop doing what they're doing. They actually have the opportunity to listen to your message and listen to your voice no matter where they are and what they're doing. So I love the voice connection that podcast provides you. And I think it's quite extraordinary that, we are, so many of us, you get a lot from visuals. So you get a lot from actually looking at someone and looking into their eyes and relaying the message in that way. But it's quite extraordinary, the connection that you can have with people just purely through your voice and getting your voice familiar to your audience and to your listeners over a period of weekly or fortnightly shows. So it's a beautiful medium in that respect. And I truly believe you don't need to have a professional background in voice training. You don't need to have the best voice in the world, but you can harness some of your voice skills. It's about familiarity though. It's about excuse me, it's about creating a presence and an understanding with your audience, and that is what creates the connection. So that personal connection is really special. You can get your message heard all over the world. So I'm trying to play with this screen. There you go. And I find this absolutely incredible because we produce this show here from Australia. The majority of our guests are from the US. The majority of our listeners are from the US and the UK and Canada. And here we are sitting in Australia producing this show. So all of a sudden, your voice and your message and your products and your brand and your services are not limited to the local environment that you're working in. It's not limited to your gym facility. You actually have the chance to reach people all over the world with podcasting. And it's something that you can do immediately, just like we're doing Facebook Live, or it's something that you can pre-plan and reach that audience. But it's quite an amazing thing to be able to reach all over the world. And just yesterday, I was having a look at Libsyn, which is where we house all of our podcasts, and they're the ones that we get all of our geographical information from and all our download information. And they show this huge map. I'll show it to you guys at one stage through this series. And on that map, it shows you exactly how many downloads come from each individual country all over the world. And I find it amazing to be able to sit here and have a look that, we have a download from this places that I would never imagine would be listening. We have things, ones from Indonesia, from far out places in Europe, and it's just incredible. So it gives you a little bit of a kick to know that your message is being heard in such remote places all over the world. So it's really cool. I already mentioned that, of course, they can be produced at a low cost, and of course you can go right up to premium elements if you wish. And last but not least, podcasting is a gateway. And I love this about podcasting. It's a gateway to introducing your audience and your community to other products and services that you provide. And one of the things that I often speak to fitness professionals about is these days, so many of them have online options, whether that's online training services or online products, downloadable ebooks or programs. So why not go after an audience that is all over the world? Why not introduce your community to the products that you have sitting on your website right now? Because the fact that you've got them online tells me that they can go anywhere. They can be consumed by anyone around the world. So why not open up that gateway and expose people all over the world to your products and services that you have on offer? So they're just some of the reasons that I love podcasting. Now, I don't want to be over dramatic about this, but if there is one thing that I can tell you guys, it is that when it comes to podcasting, systems are life. Okay, systems are life when it comes to podcasting. I learned this through a lot of trial and error. I learnt this because we were getting to a stage where the workload for producing a weekly show was out of control. It was taking up a huge amount of my time. It was taking up a lot of time for our team. And we realized that the only way that we could actually move forward efficiently was to bring systems into the business, bring a lot of systems. So you probably know this with your own business. You know this with running a gym, running a facility, running personal training clients. You need to have systems to act efficiently or to be efficient. And podcasting is no different. But I want to give you a snapshot of how many systems we actually use in the business. Don't let this freak you out, but I'm showing you this so that you know that implementing these systems from the get-go is going to help you long-term. And had we had these from the beginning, our life would be so much easier. But this is what we've learned, and this is what I want to share with you. Here are some of the systems that we use. We've got a system for planning the show, for planning the topics, in our case, for how we contact the guests, for how we book the guests in for their interviews, collecting guest information. We have individual actions for each show. We have a system for scripting the show, for post-production, for loading it onto Libsyn, notifying the guests that the show is live, posting on social media, and last but not least, repurposing the content. Now, I know that seems like a lot of systems, but honestly, it just helps so much when, as I said, when it comes to getting really organized and buckling down and just getting stuff done. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff. So don't let it panic you at the moment, but I just want you to keep remembering that systems are definitely the key for you to be able to add podcasting on as an extra element of all the things that you're already doing. Okay, that's the purpose of showing you this. Okay, let's keep going if my computer allows me. There it is. So hopefully you're starting to ask yourself this question, is podcasting for you? And I'm going to get you to do a little exercise off the back of today, which will help you answer that question. It will help you decide if this is a path that you want to go down. And one thing that I want to remind you of is, whilst I am representing a podcast that has been a weekly show, we've been going 3.5 years without any breaks, we've produced 157 shows, that is not the only way that you can podcast. You absolutely have the option of creating a 12, a 14, a 16-week standalone series that might be a way that you take an education piece or a message that you have, that you represent, that you believe in for your business, and you want to share that with your community. There is nothing stopping you from doing a short-term podcast. So just keep that in mind, that you have plenty of options. You might just think, okay, there is a message that I absolutely want to portray to my audience. I have some structure around that, or I can create some structure around that. I feel as though I can talk over 12 shows or 14 shows or whatever it might be. I want to do this by myself, or I want to interview people for it. All I'm saying is that you have the choice of doing a short-term podcast, or you can do a long-term ongoing series. It's up to you. But don't do anything less than about 6 to 10. You need 6 to get up and running. And bear in mind that the longer you go, the better the community that you're going to build, the more familiarity they'll gain with your voice and your business and your brand. So just keep that in mind when you're planning. But you might decide that you want to do 3 blocks of 12 show series, or 3, does that make sense? 3 blocks of 12 shows, which is 3 series. That's what I was trying to say. You might decide that you just want to do that, and that's maybe your plan for the year. Or maybe in 2018, you want to just do a 12-part series and see how it goes and see what the feedback's like and what the take-up is like. And then in 2019, maybe do 2 series. So lots and lots of options for you guys to think about. So here are your actions for week 1. If you don't know how to do that, just put the words podcast play in the notes below, in the comments below, and I'm going to send you a video that I created which shows you how to download a podcast onto your phone. Okay, so that's number 1, podcast player on your phone. Number 2, I want you to decide on 2 topics that you are interested in. One which is a personal interest, and one which is a professional interest. So 2 topics, could be anything at all. And let me tell you, when it comes to podcasting, nothing is off limits. Okay, there are podcasts for everything out there. So think of a personal topic, think of a professional topic. Then I want you to search online for podcasts relating to those 2 topics. Okay, so just search online. You can search on iTunes, you can search online. If you just write podcast on talking to horses, trust me, there's actually a podcast on that, then that's going to pop up, okay? Before our next session next week, so before week 2, please, please, please do this. Listen to a minimum of 3 podcasts for each of those chosen topics. So 1 for your personal, 1 for your professional. Listen to a minimum of 3. This is just your little research project to keep some notes on the things that you like about those podcasts and the things that you don't like about those podcasts. Do you like that they use opening music? Do you like how they introduce the show? Do you like that they have ads in the show or that they don't have ads in the show? Do you like that they use a guest? What do you like about the presenter's voice? Do you like the tone that they speak in or the way that they connect with their audience, or do you not like that? So just keep yourself a little notepad of the things that you like and that you dislike, because those notes that you make on those couple of podcasts are going to help feed in to our scripting and our planning systems that we talk on in later episodes. So that is your homework for week 1. That is all you have to do. And I'm going to jump out of this. Let's stop screen share. I'm going to come back in. Hopefully you guys can see me now. Let's just take a quick look. Hey, Andrew, thank you for joining us. So guys, that's your homework for week 1. It's really straightforward. I would love to hear how you go. So if at any stage you want to contact me, you want to chat to me, you can pop a note in the bottom of this video at any time and I'll always check it and get back to you. If you have any trouble downloading the podcast player or searching for those podcasts of the topic that you're choosing, then just shoot me a note and I'll be able to help you with that as well. So as I said, the aim of the game is to help you guys get up and running with your very first podcast, and I am here to help you. I really love this medium. I'm so passionate about podcasting as a medium, and it is the future. We talk so much about video, and video is instrumental, but I want you to keep in mind just the beautiful personal nature of podcasting, and that it can give you an opportunity to connect so intimately with your listeners and create that community that is worldwide reaching. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for tuning in to FBP Live episode 12. FBP Live episode 12. So next week, we're going to be talking about choosing your podcast topic. So start to have a think about that as well for today, or over the next couple of days while you're listening to those podcasts. We're going to talk about choosing your podcast topic. Guys, thank you so much for joining me once again. I look forward to chatting to you next Wednesday at 11 a.m. for FBP Live episode 13. Have a fantastic week up ahead.